So what this presentation is all about is to give you a little bit of an in-depth of what the walking program is supposed to be and what your expectations are. I expect this to last about 30 to 40 minutes and hope you get value out of this, get yourself adjusted and be ready for the season. So let's go to the next slide. We always start with this. This was shared yesterday as well. If you want something you never had, you must be willing to do something you have never done. And the very fact that you all are here just means that you are ready to do something you've never done before, which is 16 weeks of structured 10K and half marathon walking program. And, when you don't do things and when you're doing things that you've never done before, you have to expect ups and downs, isn't it? Because it's new. And especially when you're taking a 16-week commitment, I'm sure you will see many things coming in, some last-minute detours, some speed breakers, some surprises, both on the positive side as well as on the negative side. But the idea here is to keep at it. That's really how we finish a season. So that's when you can do something you've never done before. Yeah. So keep that mindset as we go into the season. So next slide, please. So I want to start with maybe a little bit of a view, about a couple of minutes of how the season 12 ended. Now, when you see this video that Coach Wiz will shortly share, what you're going to see is the end of 16 weeks of training program. How does it look? One thing you will see common across everybody inside this video is that all of us are would be looking exhausted, would be having salt on their faces, would be having sweat and all kinds of things, because these are taken at the end of the race. But you know what? As they say, beauty is not skin deep. It is something that's really deep. And that's what you will see across these pictures. Beautiful human beings achieving some incredible stuff. And how does success look like? We just want to start off with that video so that we all have that imagery as we get into the season. Why don't you play that a little bit? I hope you can hear the sound well. Nope, sound is not coming, this, unfortunately.
Maybe sound is not yet coming. Okay, give me 1 second then. I think let me stop it.
So when you click on the share button,
share the sound is what I had there.
Like on the right side, there'll be two buttons that says optimize for sound.
Yes.
You see that?
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Select this option if you want others to hear exactly.
You clicked on the buttons, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, now you can share and see whether it works. Otherwise, we keep moving and we'll send the video separately. That's not a problem.
Still not yet?
Yeah, the sound is not coming. It's okay. I will send this video out separately and then we'll continue with the presentation. But all of you, please do look at this. This video, this was taken on the race day of last season. So you can escape it and go to the next slide. With sound, you can see this and all of you will understand what I'm talking about. But let's get back to our content for today. So again, wanted to kickstart with our mission, which we discussed yesterday. Our mission of Runner's High is about developing, connecting, and creating a strong network of amazing human beings. That's what we try to do. Of course, with our walking program, we try to unearth and develop amazing human beings who take on difficult things, work hard, and achieve it. That's how we define amazing human beings. And we all are amazing because we are here. We are trying to do that, which is a very, very big deal. So keep that in mind as we move into the season. So let's keep going to the next slide. So 3 things we discussed in our new hire orientation as well. 3 pillars on which these kind of training programs should reside and should be the reason for the success. One is we need commitment. Without commitment, you won't be able to do these type of training programs. And we are starting a new year. Let us all sort of tell ourselves that let us commit to this activity. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your own health, prioritize your own happiness, physical and mental happiness. When you prioritize, automatically you will commit, okay? When you prioritize, that is when you will realize that you won't tell to yourself that today I had too much of things on my plate, so I didn't have time to do this. you would say that because I have prioritized this, I will first do this and then think about other things in my life, which I've been doing it for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years anyway. Yeah, that's the mindset. And when you do that, you will realize that things are very easy to execute during the season. Similarly, resilience. Now, resilience is a very important trait that all of us need to have generally in life, definitely in a program like this. Because as I said, in a 16-week training program, there will be ups and downs. There will be left turns and right turns and speed breakers that you never expected. And having a mindset of resilience will make you come back after a bit of a detour in the training program, whether it is a health detour, travel detour, family issues detour, it could be anything. But that's the second portion that I want all of you to think about. And of course, we need to have fun. If you don't have fun, there's no way you can sustain this. So commitment, resilience, and having fun are the three pillars that you need to be thinking about as you move through the training program. Let's move to the next slide, please. So I just want to introduce all the coaches once again. These are your coaches. These are coaches who are all been runners for a long time, as well as they've been coaches for a long time. As you can see, we unearth coaches, train coaches from our ecosystem only. From season 6, these coaches are getting added. If you go to the next slide, a view of all the coaches. Season 13, we're adding 5 more new coaches. We have Sam and Coach Viz as well as a panelist for this. So these are your coaches. You can go to the website, you can click on their links of profiles for these coaches, and you will get to know, please do get to know your coach. Yeah, having an idea about your coach is important. Now let us get into the walking program. The first thing I want to tell all of you about this walking program is that it is not a walk in the park. This walking program is not a walk in the park. So I stop here for a second. Can you all go to the chat window and just express yourself in 1 or 2 sentences? What do you understand by the statement that this training program should not be a walk in the park? That means what? What did you understand by the sentence? Go ahead. Let me see what you think. I'm looking at the chat window. Yes, it needs commitment. It should test our strength and endurance. Very true. It's a structured program, which is what we're going to discuss. Very true, Meenakshi, very well said. Active walking. I love the word active there. It can be easy, Lakshmi, if the way you look at it. But yes, it is very structured. It is very committed. What else you can think of when I say that this training program is not a walk in the park? I love all those responses, folks. Well done. Let me hear from 1 or 2 more of you.
Great point.
Okay, let it keep coming. But what I really wanted to say is that if you think about walking, I know many of you have thought about, let me join the walking program. I want to make sure that one item is very clear between you and us. No socializing event, but serious walking. I know what you mean, right, Mona? Very true. It is not, this is not where you just, have a stroll with your spouse, just generally discussing life, having a cup of coffee and slowly moving through the park and finish your walking distance. Yeah, that's not what this program is about. This is a serious, dedicated walking hour. Okay. The only difference between a walking program and a running program is you're not expected to run or a jog. You're just expected to walk. But if you think of it as a continuum, on one end of that continuum is, let's assume, Kipchoge or one of those world-class marathoners reside. Of course, we don't want to be that. None of us can be that. Then as you move through the continuum, somewhere in the middle are folks like us who are doing full marathon and half marathon running. So they train, they run, all that stuff. Then as you move towards the other side of the continuum, what I would like to see is you guys, walkers who are dedicated, active walkers, where every walk is a workout in itself, where there is a bit of sweat that you are able to generate because of walking. There is a bit of heart rate increase that happens. Your arms are swinging nicely, and you are not having a social chat with others and having chatting with your friend on the phone and generally strolling through the park. That's not what this is about. Okay, let's make sure that if there is one thing I want you to take away from this one is that. That's what I want you all to keep that in mind. Every walk needs to be that. Okay, what it should not be. Let me now tell you what it should be. So let's keep going. So first thing is, let's just talk about our walking cohort. This is the first time we are introducing this program, and we are just blown away by the responses. Yeah, 113 of you have joined us for the walking program, which is a huge cohort. For context, the first 3 seasons put together is less than 130. That is the number of walkers we are starting today, of which 86 of you are joined for the pro program. That means you will have a coach, and 27 of you have joined for a light program, which means you will not have a coach, you will just have the training program in front of you. Within that, you can see there is a bunch of you who have signed up for a half marathon program as well, and then there is a large contingent of 10K. So there's a 10K walk, that's about 6 miles, half marathon active walk, that's a 13-mile walk. So it's a serious activity that you all are going to do, and we can't wait. We can't wait to get you started and see how this program is going to pan out. And maybe some days later, maybe I'll also join the walking program myself as a walker, because as I look through the training program, it's quite interesting, and I'm going to share a little insight with all of you. Let's keep going to the next slide, please. So first thing is, let us talk about how do you walk. Yeah, I just told you what you should not be, which is walk in the park should not be. Now let me answer the questions. How are you supposed to walk? And we will give you a little bit of videos as well shortly, but let us just touch on some of the basics. The first thing is, when you're walking, posture is everything. I want you all to be as straight as possible. The best way my coach explains this to me is, think as if a helium balloon is connected, 2 helium balloons are connected to your shoulder. Or in other words, the helium balloon is pushing your shoulder up. That's the view. So you're standing straight, your chin is sort of parallel to the ground, your eyes are looking like a headlight of a car, like way ahead, and you are having a straight posture with neck and shoulder relaxed. So like if you look at the one that is on the right side of the picture, the person is bent over, the neck and shoulders are a little bit like this, and there is a lot of strain in the upper torso portion of walking. We want that to be one on the left. It's a great time for you all in this walking program to fix your posture as well. It's wonderfully a good exercise to fix your posture, and you can do that during walking, keeping it straight, chin parallel to the ground, and walking nicely. Okay, that's the first thing. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide is about your arms. Now, this is the time when I would like you to swing your arms when you're walking, so that you can feel that you're walking. No, nicely swing, like an active swing. Somebody told about active walking. This is where the active walking comes. I'm going to pose a question to all of you, and let us see what your thoughts are on this. The question is, why is swinging an arm important when you do active walking? Why do you think it is important? Or what does it do to you when you active walk, and when you're swinging your arms, what happens? What do you think? Let me hear your thoughts. Helps you propel forward. Good. What else? Balance, Meenakshi, wonderfully said. Better circulation, increased speed. But the operating word here, folks, is balance. You know, the tightrope walkers, if you think about it, right? Imagine the tightrope walkers. What do? They balance with their arms, right? With that big stick that they have, and they balance the entire body. Kind of swinging your arms also does the same. It nicely balances your center of gravity around your heel, so that you're always straight. And this swinging, tomorrow what you do is, when you're walking, just hold your arms, catch hold of each other, and just press it to your stomach, okay? Which is the opposite of swinging your arms, and try to walk. You will feel very imbalanced when you're walking, because your arms are not helping you to give that balance. It'll give you more steps, Shiva, that is true. But yes, the idea here is, when you swing your arms, you will feel a little bit of a kinetic balance that happens while you're walking, which helps you to do this smoothly, and you're also able to maintain a good posture when you do that. So I want you all to keep that in mind. When you're walking, it takes you into the active walking zone. Similarly, on the pace, You will focus on a steady pace unless told otherwise. I'm going to talk to you about what is the meaning of that. But a steady pace is important. So if you're walking for 2 miles, don't start so fast and then towards the last half mile, you're not even able to, maintain half of that speed. Pointless. I want you to maintain a steady pace right through the 2 miles so that you are, when you finish the walk, you feel you have done a decent workout. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now let us talk about how much of effort you need to put in when you're walking. You remember I was talking to you about the continuum. Now let us think through in terms of numbers. If on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is sort of the max effort. That means you're running at full speed where, after a couple of minutes or seconds, you are simply not able to keep going. That's your level 10, like breathing hard, and you just have to stop and put your hands on your knees and just get some breath, right? It happens when you run very fast. Let's say that is level 10. And level 1 is like just walking with your spouse, nicely having a good time about chatting about your life, which is level 1. Want you to focus largely on 4, 6 to 7, 8 activity in this training period. We will tell you time to time, take your effort to 7 to 8, take your effort to 4 to 6. You just maintain it. So as you begin your walking journey, try to structure your effort that you're able to give along these sort of approximate numbers, like approximate rating of effort, and try out different effort activity and try to see where your 4 to 8 activity effort is, and that is the zone you will be executing this entire walking program. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's keep going. We had shared this in the new hire orientation, but I wanted to give you a quick view again of what all things you can expect in your walking program from an RHWB delivery features delivery perspective. As I said, there is a pro program, there is a light program, with or without coach program. You can see things that we will do. It's a 16 to 20 week structure. It's like a 17 week now to be exact, structured training plan, including the rest week, which we'll talk about it shortly. You all have access to Final Search, which is our coaching application, which is where all the training programs are loaded. By now, hopefully you have seen the first 2 weeks of training program. There is a weekend training message from coaches, myself and others that you will be getting access to in the WhatsApp groups. We will do podcasts with fellow runners and walkers who have done these things. So you can let us learn from, not just from the coaches, but also horizontally from your peers. Of course, then you have access to our websites, Facebook, Instagrams, and then webinars we'll have such as this. We'll do time to time. And then, of course, if you're in the coach program, you'll have a coach constantly monitoring and providing you feedback on what to do. That's really what you can expect, and take this as a sort of a cheat sheet as you make sure that you get a check mark on all of these things and experience all of these offerings. Next slide, please. Let us also quickly understand the season flow. Like, what do you expect at various timings? You can keep clicking on it. At the end of the day, we are right now in the first 2 weeks of warm-up, where let's get started. Let's make sure that our data is flowing through. You are connected with your coaches. You know how to handle Final Search. You got your shoes, etc. ready. That's the first 2 weeks. Then the program is divided into clusters of 3 weeks called mesos. So we have a meso 1, meso 2, meso 3, and peak meso. These are the 4 meso cycles of activity, 3 weeks each. Each meso has a certain theme of training behind it. That's why this is a structured training program. Every meso has a certain theme, and we follow through this theme. It is like a train starting from New York City and going towards San Francisco. Slowly and steadily, the train will move towards West Coast, and it'll be the train will move faster and faster as we go through the season. That is what is laid out here, including the dates. After 3 meso cycles, you will have 1 week of rest, which is on the March 22nd, week of 22nd. You take the 1 week of rest, and then we have the peak meso cycle, which is where our running and walking distances are highest, after which we have a taper week where you reduce the distances and the race day. So Coach Sam and Coach Wes, let me ask you a few questions. When you look through these different mesos, what are your general sort of experiences as you go through these mesos?
Yeah. So I look at the mesos as short blocks of learning something new. The coach typically introduces something new in each of these mesos. And the reason why each miso is for 3 weeks, so roughly 21 days, for the new thing to for you to get habituated into the program, and then you kind of build on that as you go into the second miso week, where something new is introduced.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you did a really good job of defining the mesos. I also feel like personally, the load goes up as you go through the miso. So for me personally, I try to make sure that I don't schedule too much travel in the last week of every miso because I know that's the most important and most loaded week. So just from a scheduling standpoint, it's good to keep the dates in mind as you go.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, Sam, I know you do a good job at this. How do you typically, when you look at a training season ahead of you, do you train, do you plan for it on a daily basis, or do you plan your workouts on a weekly basis or a meso basis? How do you approach a season?
I mean, I kind of do all of it. Actually, just yesterday, I was trying to plan travel around the race day and making sure that race day is good. But I think in general, you start at the big picture, you kind of know what the season start dates, season end dates are, and then your key mesos. Um, Typically, when it comes to like a day by day logistic, I try to look at it typically on Sunday on rest day to kind of see what the rest of the week looks like, how I want to, if I have any conflicting activities, do I need to move things around, that sort of thing. Or whether, for example, if there's going to be too much rain, do I need to move workouts around? So definitely think planning at least a week ahead is highly recommended. So you kind of know what's coming that week. So you don't, wake up on Thursday and realize, oh, I guess it's thunderstorming all day today and I'm missing a workout. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
typically what I do.
Totally. I mean, it's a great point, and I hope all of you would take note on it. The thing that is drives this planning that Coach Sam talked about is that it is about prioritizing this first. This is how, when you prioritize, you're able to plan properly. When you plan, then it's all about executing the plan. If you don't plan at all and then wake up now one morning and then today and tomorrow is your first day of walking, you haven't planned at all when to walk, what to do, nothing today, and then tomorrow morning you wake up and think about, let me do everything else in life and then also do walking or running. You will not do it, or you will do it, but chances of not doing it is very high because life happens, right? So that's a key learning here in what coach was talking about. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep going. Yeah, we always have this tipping point, and there's something you need to think about, which is the beginning of the regular season. That means not the beginning of the regular season. I'm talking about beginning of second miso, end of first miso. That means 5 weeks of training is complete. That is when we always call it, like we coaches talk about, as a wheat gets separated from the chaff. That means, people join this kind of training program, they're all enthusiastic, they can't wait to get started, and then they start and they try to overdo their running or walking, and they keep doing it, and then 2 weeks they're able to sustain the extreme intensity and enthusiasm, and then the first miso happens. 3 weeks, beginning of the year, so they do push hard, and then comes February middle, and you've been doing this for 5 weeks. In the folks in the northern hemisphere, there's winter, and you're like, what the hell, I can't be doing this every day, it's getting to be boring. Maybe I will take a break, I'll postpone some effort to another. This is what we need to think about, where resilience comes in. This is when the wheat gets separated from the chaff, as I say. Folks who cross this line, the tipping point line, they finish the season. So my first sort of recommendation for you is, don't worry about the season. Forget about the season, forget about the 16 weeks, forget about the race day. Just focus on this date, Feb 22nd, where you finish your 3 weeks plus, is it Feb 22nd end, I think?
No, no, Feb first.
Feb 1st, yeah, which is you finish 2 weeks of warm up, 3 weeks of first miso. You reach Feb 1st and you're still good, then I think you are in golden shape. That's what we all need to focus on. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay.
3 things we have discussed this. You all need to have final search connection, which I'm sure you all have. You should be able to look at your training plans in final search. You should be able to hear and communicate with your coach in final search. You should be able to receive and read emails from me in final search, which I'm hoping all of you are able to do it right now. If not, make sure you get that done and talk to your coach. The second one is, should I have running watch, or what is this Strava? That is one question you might have. We will discuss this today. I'll come back to this. And of course, you need to have a good running shoe. This also is an important thing, which will, without a running shoe, you won't be able to do this properly. Okay, so let's keep going. We'll double click on each of these items. First one is how to final search. Now, if you, if you're having your phone handy, why don't you open final search, and you should be able to see a view like this in your phone. This is the calendar view. If you go onto the top right there, you see a small red color icon. That is the toggle between calendar view and a daily view. Essentially, this is what tells you, for instance, I just clicked on next week. You can see there are 7 activities every day. And if you click on each of these icons, it'll tell you what that activity is supposed to be. Okay. Now, right now, when you look at it, if it is grayed in color, then it is not yet done. If it is blue in color here in strength activity, for instance, Sangeeta has gone in and updated their strength activity, so it has changed color. That means it has been recorded. Your activity has been recorded. Tomorrow, when you finish 1 mile, this will become a green. That means that is done. That's how you need to understand on a weekly basis how this flows through. Let's go to the next slide. Now, the question is, whether should I use the watch or a Strava? This is the question, right? Let us first understand what is happening here. You are walking on the left side. Let us say you have a watch or a Strava. We'll come to it exactly what that is. All watch or Strava is doing is it is capturing your data from your walking, how far you've run, what time you took. That is basically the data it picks up, sends it to our final search app, where your coach is able to see that and provide you feedback. That's really the cycle. So the only choice is between whether should I use watch, do I need to use a watch, or what is this Strava? This is the only question which we'll address. Let's go to the next slide. I put together a simple sort of framework for you. Okay. Which program are you in? First question, are you doing a walk program or a run program? In this webinar, everyone is a walk program. So the right side, if you're a run program, you must have a watch. If you are in the walking program, then you ask yourself a question, do you have a running watch? If the answer is yes, fantastic. Then you don't have to worry about Strava. You just use the watch, connect that to final search, and all your data will flow to the final search as with everybody. But let us say many of you do not have a watch. We are saying, because you are in the walking program, don't have to worry about it. You just sign up for this app called Strava. Okay. And sign up for it. And when you start a walk, you can switch on in Strava mobile app an activity and switch off that activity once you're done. The Strava will do the same thing as the watch. It sends the data. Only thing is Strava does not have heart rate. Your watch has heart rate and few other metrics that Strava will not have. But that is okay, because walking need not require so many metrics for your coach to sort of coach you. That's the setup, folks. So it's either Strava or watch. If you already have a watch, then no need for Strava. Okay. That said, if you are all interested, you're really going well, why don't you give yourself the gift of a watch? Splurge a little bit. Good time to give you a New Year gift. Give yourself a gift of a watch, and you don't need Strava. You can use watch for other things as well. Should we choose the walk mode in a Garmin watch? Yes, you should choose the walk mode in a Garmin watch. By the way, you can also choose a run mode in a Garmin watch if you're walking. If you're walking but you're running, you're walking but you choose the run mode, that's fine. It'll still take all the data and send it to your coach. Yeah. So it doesn't matter which mode you choose, but it's okay to choose walk mode as well. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So coming back to the strength activity. So there are 2 types of activities you have: a strength activity and a running activity. Now, on the running activity, it's very simple. You switch on the watch or the Strava and switch it off once the walk is completed. Everything will automatically flow into the final search. You don't have to do anything. Now, for strength training activities, where we provide you workouts and exercises, etc., every day, the easiest way I suggest is, if you go to the left panel, if you go on the top, I'm having the right at the arrow on the left panel, you see the 3 dots. When you go to final search, click on the strength activity. If you just have to click on that 3 dots, you will get this edit, copy, move, delete kind of a window. Choose edit. Okay. And once you choose edit, the right window comes up, where you just go to the duration and say how long it took for you to do the strength activity and how you felt in the strength activity, and just save. That's it. This is what you are expected to do to record a strength activity. Simple. This is assuming that you don't want to go into your watch, and there are ways to do that, but I just want to keep it very simple for you. Final search, strength activity, click on the three dot buttons, click on the edit, choose the duration and choose the how you felt and save it. You are done. If you are operating in a gentleman/ladies contract, that means if you do it, if you put this in, we assume that you've actually done it. You don't have to be exact duration. Approximate duration is fine. In this way, we are able to make sure that you have done all the activities. Okay. Any questions? Please feel free to type in the chat window. I'm happy to respond. So this is how you do the strength training recording. So let's go to the next slide. Similarly, on the Strava side of things, I've embedded a video for you here, how to connect Strava to Final Search. Because the sound is a problem, I'm going to share this YouTube link as well as the presentation. Please click on this. It will tell you how to connect Strava to Final Search and how to log into Strava and Final Search. Okay. Any questions?
Okay.
Cool.
Coach, there is a question about whether they should use the walk mode in Garmin. You may have answered that.
Yeah, I answered that. I just saw it while I was presenting, so I answered that. So again, as I said, right, what all different types of activities you are seeing? So you have walk activities and strength activities across the season. Within walk activities, there are 3 different types of walking we'll be providing you with clear instructions. First one, I call it a regular walk. A regular walk is what I just told you. Not walk in the park, a level effort 4 to 6 effort, okay, and a good proper posture and a good hand movement. You are doing a regular walk. We tell you the time, the distance that you need to walk. So all you need to do is you go to that particular day's recommended activity. And if it's a regular walk, all you're doing is, okay, I'm going for a 1 mile regular walk, effort 4 to 6, moving my hands nicely, maybe working up a little bit of sweat and finishing it. That's a regular walk or workout will provide you. The second one is what we call it as interval walk. Now, interval walk is essentially, it'll happen a little later in the season. It will not happen in the first 2-3 weeks, but it will happen. What this is we want you to adjust the pacing of walking. So you remember the effort scale I was telling you about? So the interval walk will be, you will do like, let's say 2 minutes of effort 4 to 6 and 30 seconds of effort 6 to 7. And then again come 2 minutes of effort 4 to 6 and 30 seconds of effort 6 to 7. This is an example of an interval walking. The idea here is we want you to slightly increase your heart rate, slightly increase your effort, keep at it for some time, and then come back to a regular walk cadence and then walk. So this is the interval walking that we want you to do. This is a very important sort of workout, strength walking workout that increases your muscular strength across all the muscles that are going to be activated during walking, which is what we want you to do. Then comes a very advanced type of walking, a little later in the season, a hill walk. That means you find a road near your house, or maybe if you're walking in a treadmill, keep an incline of 2 to 3 degrees. It will all be told in the instructions where you are expected to climb up, climb down. It's a different set of muscle again is being used in walking, and it's a type of interval. Only difference is in this scenario, the interval is not about pacing. Interval is about elevation as you climb. Okay, those are the 3 types of walks juxtaposed within the strength trainings with the regular walk with some rest. That is your training, folks. That's going to be your 16 weeks of training. On the strength training, which is extremely important for all of you to follow, there will be lower body workouts, upper body workouts, core workouts, and stability workouts. These are the 4 types of workouts that will be added. Those of you who are doing yoga, feel free to exchange 1 or 2 of these sessions to yoga, as depends on what you do in your yoga sessions. Absolutely fine. Okay. Coach Viz, I just wanted to get your thoughts on how important you think is a strength training workout for the overall season, and what are some of the common mistakes you've seen runners do on the strength training department?
Absolutely. So when I joined the program, I thought it was a running program, so I need to just focus on the runs. And little did I realize that strength is such an integral part of running, primarily because even though you walk, there are a whole bunch of muscles that kind of come together. Things when you think about when you look at it, your glutes and your hamstrings, everything come together. And all these have to be kind of isolated through strength exercises. Of course, when you're running, it's a whole body exercise. And I used to think, man, why do I have to do upper body and things like that when I'm running? But then over time, you realize that all these kind of work together in sync, and you kind of it also helps you prevent injuries. It also helps you, if you're trying to improve your timings or anything related to metrics. I think the strength training is such a crucial part of running and walking as well. And for me, the other thing is there are the way you kind of warm up your body before you go for your activity and the way you cool down the body after the activity. These seems very trivial, but they go a long way in kind of maintaining the body strength, making sure that you don't get injuries when you run. And I think that is one of the important things is not getting injured in when you're acting, when you're trying something new. So
Absolutely. No, thanks for that. Yeah, let's keep going. So now let us talk about your entire season at a glance. Yeah, look at this. Keep an eye on this table. So what you're seeing in this table is your entire season divided into the 17 weeks of training starting today. There is week 12, which is a rest week where we all take rest after doing three mesos and one warm up segment. So 3 plus 3 times 3, 9 plus 2. After 11 weeks of training, your 12th week becomes a rest where all of us really enjoy that. And then come back for a peak meso activity. And then you have the taper week, and then it is the race day. So if you look at 10K, these are all weekly mileages. So if you look at 10K, first week you're expected to walk for 4 miles. Next week in total over 4 days. So that think about it like a mile or so a day kind of thing. That slowly increased to 4.5, 5, 6, and so on. And towards the peak mesocycle and others, you will be walking 14, 15 miles so I think there's a small typo there. It is not 15.5 in the taper week, it's slightly lesser than that. But that's the amount of miles you'll be walking. And if you're in half marathon, the weekly distances goes up to 25 weeks, 25 miles in week 15. 25 miles over 4 activities means you are talking of 3-4 mile weekdays and maybe a 6-7-8 mile weekends. That's the amount of walk you will be doing, and we will slowly increase to that. So over a period of the entire season, a 10Ks will walk up more than 150 miles, and half marathon will walk almost close to 250 miles over the end of the season. Aren't you guys excited about that? 250 miles. That's from here to Boston. So around that's the amount of distance you'll be walking. And yeah, we are excited, guys. You guys should get excited as well. Let's keep going. We also asked past runners, hey, when you look at your own season, multiple seasons, what are some of the things that really make you miss your runs? And this is applicable to walks as well. And as you can see, there are some who have never missed, which is unbelievable, awesome. We all should strive to be that. But when you look at the other reasons, work pressure, lack of time, sickness, travel, lethargy, procrastination, body pain, I am feeling exhausted, boredom. Trust me, this is, I think, almost covers the gamut of all possible, uh, may I add, frivolous, except for maybe the sick and injury part of it, reasons why people don't do it. And that people includes me as well. We are all human beings. The reason why I'm sharing this is, yes, if you face all of it, it's okay. Life happens, these things happen. That is when you need to think about resilience. The goal is to come back after these unfortunate bugs bite us. Are you able to come back and sustain the training? That's what you need to be thinking about so that we can get into that green box. Yeah. If you go to the next slide, we also asked our runners and walkers. If you go to the next slide. Oh,
this is the next one, the experience
oh
pain
yeah.
or injury.
So we also asked our runners, hey, as you look through it, where do you normally get pain and injury after, say, 5, 6, 7 weeks of training? And you can see a lot of folks have knees and foot issues, but you are all walkers. So we hope that the impact load on the joints will be a lot lesser than folks who are running. So we expect you to have much lighter knee foot impact. So we expect that injuries will be less. That doesn't mean that you will ignore any pains that might be coming. This is what you have to work with your coaches. We will be coaching you, figuring out how to manage pain, how to identify pain, and when to continue, when to stop. All these are part of a training program. But keep in mind, a little bit of pain is, pain is gain. At the end of the day, you are doing things that you've never done before, right? So yes, you will have pain after doing 5, 6 miles. You will feel more sore than pain. That's okay. That's a gift of what you did, and just enjoy that soreness. In fact, many of us have actually enjoyed the soreness and convert that into runner's high. Um, so maybe I'll ask Coach Sam on this. Would you agree with my thought that sometimes soreness is actually a pleasurable thing as long as it's manageable and it is not too bad?
Definitely a good sore. And I think the key is learning to distinguish between the good sore and the bad sore, because that's how you know how your body is recovering. Especially if you do like a longer walk than you're normally used to, you can expect that you're going to be a little sore the next day, but over time start to like listen to your body and get a feel for when it's a good sore, as in your body is healing and growing stronger, as opposed to like niggles, as in, okay, this left hip is twitching and it's not getting better in 48 hours. So I think learning to distinguish between the two is really important, and then when
Yeah,
the good sore happens, you know you've done a good job and moving in the right direction, and
agree.
over time you learn to enjoy it.
Very true. Very true. And folks, we will discuss this. You don't have to remember any of it. We will discuss this. I think the message, only thing you need to think about is pain is okay. Pain is gain. As long as Coach Sam nicely said, as long as you know that this pain is not like something that is that needs extra medical attention. That how you distinguish that is something that we will learn over the season, as well as even over multiple seasons. It's not something that you get master of. It's part and parcel of the game. Yeah. Let's keep going. Just want to share with you our communications. You're already there in the Walkers WhatsApp group. If not, make sure the links are here. We'll be sharing this deck as well. So there is a Walker group that you'll all be part of. There is an overall RHWB group. If you would like to be, you can join. It's more like a public square. It's not mandatory, but the first one is. And then finally, help desk. Any questions you have, click on this link. You'll have our friendly help desk staff is there to answer any of your questions. Trust me, we've been doing it for now 6-7 years, so we know all possible questions that can potentially come. So we have good answers for most of 99.99% of your questions. And those questions that we don't know, we'll figure it out and come back to you. And I'm really proud of the way our sort of support staff uh, take it upon themselves to answer questions within max 24 hours turnaround time. So that's pretty nice. So keep these links handy, and whenever is in need, you can always use these. Let's keep going. Of course, the link tree for various of our activity coming to our universe of Facebook, the Instagrams, all that good stuff, all in one nice link tree. You can use this to kind of get connected. Yep, let's keep going. So I think we have come to this short presentation, and come to an end of this short presentation, and you can stop sharing. I just wanted to open the floor for any questions you might have, and we are happy to take questions live. I see already one question which we'll address jointly, but this is a great time for all of you to ask questions. There is no bad question. Just want to summarize only 3 main bullet points as we talk about the presentation. Bullet point 1, this is a structured, active walking training program. It's not a walk in the park. Effort required is either 4 to 7. That's the level of effort required. That's one. Second thing is, make sure if you have a watch, you're good. If you don't have a watch, you need to have Strava in which is a sort of a Facebook for walkers, runners, cyclists. That's how you should think of Strava as. You download that app, and with that app, you can record your activity and then connect the Strava to Final Search. In that way, the data flows into your coach. How to connect Strava to Final Search? I've already got a YouTube link. you please go through it and just follow through that. That is item number two. Item number three, and the last item, is that there are multiple types of activities in a training in the next 16 weeks. Strength training activities, connecting various portions of your body. Running, walking activity that has 3 different types of walking that we will ask you to do. Goal is the think, strategize on your level. What is level 4 and what is level 7? Once you know that, accordingly, we'll be able to execute the training plan. Okay, so those are the 3 main points. I stop here for a second. I would love to hear any questions, comments you have in the chat window, and we'll address it. I'll start off with Priya's. Can we walk on the treadmill? Another Garmin mode question. What mode should we use when walking on the treadmill? 2 great questions. So let me repeat the question. First question is, can we do on treadmill? It's a winter program. Answer is yes, you can. Obviously, you can on the treadmill. My suggestion also is, because you come here and to explore new things that you have never done in life, why don't you try walking with proper clothing and walking outside, as long as it is not icy and unsafe. It is also an extremely fun activity to walk with proper clothing, balaclava, if it is really cold I'm talking about, and do an active walking outside. It's also an extremely fun experience. Okay, of course, with ice and all that, you can feel free to walk in treadmill. If for any other reason you feel comfortable walking in treadmill, totally fine, walk in treadmill. In terms of what you need to do in the watch, there is a walk walk indoor menu item in your Garmin. Choose that and do the walk in treadmill. Okay, in that way, it doesn't go through Garmin GPS in terms of measuring distances. It measures distances by your cadence. That means the step. So the distances measured in Garmin watch when you are measuring in indoor in a treadmill will be different from what you see in treadmill. Just focus on the treadmill distance and do it. Don't worry about the watch distance, and then treadmill distance is your way to go. Okay, so that's what you should do. Sharad asks, I'm a first timer, attended 2 calls. What does it say? Hindi little bit. Shukriya, is that? I don't know exactly what that Hindi word says. To Balaji and all coaches, I'm going to assume you're saying thank you. And then what is 4 to 8 scale in minutes per mile? Yep, I know what you mean, Seema. So this is, I'm thinking of it as an effort more than a pace, because it's different from different people. So as I said, right, if you go back to the chart I had mentioned, level 10 is where you run so fast, and then after a couple of seconds, you are just putting your hands on the knee and like panting. Yeah. Level 4 is like when you're walking, you can feel a little bit warmth developing and sweat is coming, and you're doing active walking. Exactly minutes per mile depends on individual people. So think of it from an effort standpoint, where you can feel that you are making an effort. That is 4. 7 is actually you can feel that you can't sustain it for too long. Maybe 3-4 minutes you'll be able to do. That is 7. Think in that and figure it out. As you're walking, you will know where it is, where is level 4 and where is level 7. That's what I would say. Meenakshi, is maybe Viz, you can take on this question, or Viz or Sam. Is race day April 26th set on stone? Any options for those that cannot make it to that day? My daughter's wedding, so and so is there. What is your thought process for this?
Yeah, so the race day on April 26th is the race day that is in New Jersey. We have the where all the runners can come together, and many a times if you're not from the area, or even if you're from the area, you can plan it out with your coach. If the date is not going to work out, plan it well in advance, so that the coach knows accordingly, that none of the mesos are kind of getting impacted and all that. And so 100% you can you can kind of move around the race day, as long as you kind of just keep the coach updated on that particular.
Exactly.
Yep.
And in general, folks, the way to think through this is RHWB offers our own race day. Okay, that is set in stone, and we offer it in New Jersey, we offer it in Dallas, and there is one in Chennai too. That date is set in stone. It's not necessary for you to come to the RHWB race day to do the race. While we would love it, we want all of us to come to the race day and do it. But I mean, we all live in our own place, so it's not fair of us to force everyone to come here. Of course, more the merrier. 200 to 400 folks come in there. It's a celebration of RHWB more than anything else. Of course, if you are able to do it, if somebody is in and around New Jersey, I would really recommend you to come here and enjoy the experience while finishing the race. It's a race done for us, for ourselves, so it's a very special one. But if that is not possible, you can always pick up a day race that is anywhere around your house. There are so many external races that they offer in and around the time zone. If that week is not there, 2 weeks later, 1 week later, 1 week earlier, that's what Viz is talking about. Talk to your coach and figure it out. If nothing is possible, you can also do virtually. You switch on the watch and do on the race day, you do whatever 10 miles or half marathon around the house, record in the watch that exact distance. You have still completed the race and you will be given a virtual a certificate of completion because of your virtual distance. Okay, all these things you can sort it out with your coach as well, and we will also help you as you move through this. Sam, I want you to take Sangeeta's question. The question is, the season flow timeline, can you please share? The yoga class link that was shared yesterday, where do we access it?
That's awesome, because I actually just signed up for the yoga this morning, so I definitely know where it is. First of all, we will share I think Coach Bala already shared the link from yesterday's presentation, and it does have the information about the yoga. But if you go into the RHWB website, in the member-only resources, the yoga is one of the tabs present. If you're not able to find it, send me a message and I'll send you the link as well. It's really intuitive. There's a really quick form that you can fill right there, and it'll send an expression of interest to Fitness Kriya, and they reach out immediately to help you set up sessions as well. So highly recommend it. It's been smooth so far.
Exactly. And also this deck and this recording, I will share with all in the Walkers WhatsApp group right after this. Okay. So you will get access to this presentation, including the presentation that was shared in the new hire orientation as well. Sadhuvat, got it, Sharad. Thank you. What are the questions you have, folks?
Just to add to the 4 to 8 minutes, the 4 to 8 scale, the different where you said the 4 is what you have to identify, 7 what you identify, and then the ranges. One very, very important thing in running at least is that 4 and that 8 is very individualistic. Like what is the 4 for you may not be something else for somebody else. So that's why when you look at walks or runs, especially, it's very tough to compare because it's your run. It's so unique to you. It's your own personal thing. And so that's why you will identify for yourself what your 4 is and what your 7 is to be in that 4 to 7 scale.
Exactly. So there is a question about, does Pixel Watch work in Final Search? So because watch itself is an optional item for all walkers, the reason why some of the watches, other than Garmin and Apple, doesn't work is they don't send all the data that is needed at a mile level for us in Final Search. But because in walking, that itself is we don't need that much of level of detail. So all watches are okay. Most of the watches absolutely will connect to Final Search and will give you the distances. Only thing is it will not give you the splits properly. That's fine. So yes, the answer is yes. Pixel Watch, Fitbit, everything is okay as for our walkers. Only for runners, we need Garmin or Apple Watch. Lakshmi says, if you're traveling to India during a training period, how can we manage and stay committed? A brilliant question, Lakshmi. I don't want to answer this. I want to hear either Viz or Sam answer this question. How did you manage so many seasons of training you've done? I'm sure you have done your share of travel, etc. And I think, Sam, you even got yourself married. Why going for other person's marriage? You yourself got married during training. How did you manage it?
I'll just say straight out that running in India, if you're used to running in the US, running in India is different. It's not like you can't assume that it's just going to be the same to just step out and run there. I think it requires a little extra planning. If you're intentional about it, I would start by looking at the weather in the place that you're going to, like what the typical average temperatures are, and try to pick out if you're going to be more comfortable in the morning or in the evening. For example, I am normally an evening runner, but when I go to India, I always run in the morning because in the evening it's just ridiculously hot for me. So things like that you might want to like tweak and intentionally plan out. Also, just because we travel when we're in India, getting it out of the way in the morning is normally more higher chances of getting it done, because in the evening you're probably out or traveling or have family. So I think it just takes that extra level of planning, just to make sure. And honestly, I give myself a little extra freedom to maybe walk a little bit more if I'm not able to run in that heat like I would. And that way I'm still at least getting something done instead of completely missing it, so that when you come back, you can quickly pick it back up. So that way, at least you're keeping the program going.
Absolutely. Miss?
Yeah, no, very well said, Samyukta. So I think in India, for me, I felt that, depending on the area where you are in, if you have any parks, things like that, that will be the best place, ideal place. But where we live in, the traffic is the other thing. Basically, you just can't run like the way you kind of run out here. So that is other planning that you got to do. And so the early morning things are worked out much better. And also the heat is not a big factor when you go earlier in the morning as well. So.
Absolutely.
I was
And
going to
so,
add one more
okay,
thing.
sure, sure.
We have a huge program across the world and in India too. So depending on which city you're going to, it might be worth trying to find other RHWB runners there. When I go to Chennai, I definitely find Swati and try to see if I can run with her. So that way you don't have to figure out the best running parks and routes on your own, and you can kind of rely on the community and get to know somebody there. So just another option.
That's a wonderful point, and very easy to do that. Go to Runner's High and say, "Hey, I'm going to this city. Anybody is out there?" Somebody or other will ping you. And for me, in the last 6, 7 years, to Sam's point, that has been the highlight of my experiences with RHWB. I never run alone when I travel, and I travel a lot. One point I wanted to add, in addition to those wonderful comments from Coach Viz and Sam, is that a bit on the mindset. Okay, I want you all to approach the mindset of, don't think of it as a lemon that has been given to you because of travel. Think of it as an opportunity to make lime juice. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, when I go for travel, I look forward to doing this activity because I'm saying, now I'm going to explore a place that normally I wouldn't have explored. So when I go to, say, Delhi or Chennai for that matter, I don't just like that go and run around like how I do it here. I take the extra 30, 40 minutes, take a Uber to one of the most best places in that particular place, and do a run or a walk in that place. That is how I've seen the Janpath of New Delhi in such intricate, detail, because I'm running around for 10 miles. Or went to the Lal Bags of Bangalore, the Nariman Points in Mumbai, or Marina Beach in Chennai, so on and so forth. I find good, wonderful places, Uber to that place. It's a morning package for me. I Uber it, then go for this lovely like Udupi restaurant and eat like some
Exactly.
nice food. So it's a lemon, it's a lime juice. It's not a lemon given to me. And you can do the same across the world. Okay. So that's why I'm saying destination run is a very famous, popular thing in RHWB. Uh, Initially, we all start with, oh my God, I have travel. How can I do the training? And senior runners would say, thank God I'm traveling. Now I'm going to enjoy running in the crowd. Yeah. So that's the path you need to take. Um, Cool. So we are almost finishing almost a little bit more than an hour, but any last question from you before we close? Going once? Going twice? Okay, we are done. Thank you so much. I'll share the presentation and the deck with all of you. And we will keep in touch, and all the very best, and see you all in Final Search. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Viz.
Yeah, before you go, there's just one quick question from Chitra from Mylapore, Chennai.
Chitra, what's the question?
Last question. It says, can I start doing from the park? Huh?
Can I start doing from park? Yeah, of course. You can start. You don't
Absolutely.
have to start right from your house. You can start from wherever. At that point, you can switch on the watch or Strava and then finish wherever you want to finish. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend / New Year Eve celebrations. Happy New Year, everybody. And let's get the training started in the warm-up phase. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop the recording. I think this you have to stop recording because you are there.